public.
There is.
Oh,
Yes. 2 years.
We had
There you go. You're ready.
One or two highways, and they didn't want to think about that.
Charles, remember the old Peach State Pool Services across the street from you? I sold that deal. Yeah, years ago. And then the guy moved. He leased it for a while, and he moved it up to Emory Road. He had a chance to buy some property if they're really cheap. Well, people ask me all the time, "What's your favorite kind of business?" I said, "A service business."
Everything's set up now. Sorry for the wait. First, I'd like to introduce George Pilati Jr., who is the attorney of record for the DVA. And I know some of you have not met George, so it's good to have him here. Our first order of business is to elect officers, and my plan is once we elect our officers, I'm turning this meeting over to the chairwoman, to finish the meeting.
You said chairman.
Kind of makes me seem.
It's a generic term.
So, the offices that are in the statute to be filled are the chair, the secretary, treasurer, and you can select a recording secretary who does not have to be a member of the DVA. Now, if you want to have a vice chair or anything like that, that's perfectly acceptable also. That's your decision. Any other kinds of officers you'd like to have. So, for chairman.
Why don't I'd just throw out that maybe we ought to consider a vice chair just because it gives the ability to have someone step in.
I agree.
Given that we're all, challenged with time or whatever, it leads to continuity. So I propose we have a vice chair.
Yes, sir.
Could you add some definition to the secretary and treasurer? We've had several discussions about whether the city is going to, take on the role of holding everything, keeping all the documents. That was a question that we had earlier. As far as the Open Records Act and that kind of thing. If somebody requests information, the city has everything set up to handle that. We don't. So, therefore is.
That's what a recording secretary does.
If somebody's a secretary, that's a formal position, but as far as the actual act of, being over at a typewriter and a keyboard and recording and transcribing and doing all this other stuff.
I think you can actually have a secretary. I mean, you can have someone else who's not a board member as secretary. I mean, you can have a paid position. You can't have a paid position for a board member.
Right.
But you can have, a secretary or a treasurer or somebody who is not. So what you're saying is there's a possibility you could appoint somebody if the city would do it, to do the administration, because in the past, sometimes there was nothing for years, and then when things were really going, there were people hired. So I mean, it's your choice. I don't know, but the hopefully is that you won't get many of those requests, and if you do, that it'll be taken care of. But I'm just I don't see that as a monumental problem.
So is that a request that the board would like to make of the city? And Kay, I believe.
City.
May I address the DDA?
Yes.
Okay. At this moment, Stephanie is assigned to you as your liaison, so I think for the short term, we can handle taking minutes, transcribing. I would say that as things get rolling, and depending on the amount of work that the DVA has, and that's certainly something that the mayor and council will revisit during budget time, but right now she is that person, and I'm assuming today you are taking those minutes with the recording equipment, and as you need, if you're meeting in City Hall in room 220 or perhaps the council chambers, that equipment is already set up and available for us to use for that. We're happy to handle any open records requests until you do something really big and controversial. But I think we're equipped to handle anything administratively that you might need at this point.
Okay. So I guess it's record then Stephanie will be our recording secretary for some period of time until we transition.
Yeah.
objection, you wish to also have a vice chair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's move on to chairman. Is there anyone who wants to volunteer? Do we have any nominations for chairman?
Volunteers first?
Volunteer someone who's not here?
No. Charles? No. Can I nominate somebody?
Yes, you may.
Denise Wood? I'll nominate Charles as the chair.
Do you accept the nomination?
No, I'm sorry, I can't right now. She beat me to the punch, though.
I tell you, what, I would like to nominate Monica, but I'll agree to be vice chair.
How about the flip?
That's what I propose. Yeah. And I'll help. I'll be right there with you.
I don't, I told you I didn't want to do it. I thought, do you want to, David, would you like to do the chair?
No, that works for me.
Yeah, I second
What
that.
Dave Smith said.
What does the chair have to do?
Yeah, that might, what exactly are the duties of the chair?
I have to run the affidavits, right?
Take all the liability for the end.
That's right.
That's why you need a vice chairman. So somebody
Let me see if I can
can
find.
attend a meeting or something.
No, seriously, did you do it?
It's just, the law just has such a very short section about
Yeah.
what the chair does. And, I remember thinking I would cut and paste in the agenda, but it was not even worth it. A lot of these things are going to be determined by the bylaws, you know.
Okay.
So that's.
You'll help?
I'll help. I'll be the vice chair.
If I may throw out, from my standpoint, selfishly or whatever, I am a one-man shop. I do everything myself. I have no secretary, no nothing. So my comment for that is.
So you know how to do it all.
I
think I would
would
volunteer there.
I would be willing, if you have additional help, I would be willing to be vice chair if you would do like the treasurer. If you have help, that's all I'm saying. Anybody that, I'll do anything I can
Okay.
to.
Yeah, I'll do the treasurer.
Okay. And I'll be
Why
vice
did I
chair.
miss the vice chair part?
You're too up there. We just can't.
So we have a whole slate. We have a slate now.
Okay. So it's for 1 year, right?
Yes, the officers are like every year. In fact, that is the one official meeting you have to have each year is to elect your officers each year.
We have chair, treasurer, vice chair. Do we have
No,
secretary?
we don't have secretary.
David, you can grab that.
David, can you grab that one?
You be secretary?
And again, Stephanie's going to continue the recording. I'll do that.
All right.
Or do we want the secretary treasurer to be the same?
I think statute-wise.
I think we
You can be the same.
They can be the same.
They can be the
You can
same.
be the same.
We can meet the same.
You can be secretary and treasurer.
Oh, okay.
If you can have, you could, but the thing is that the reason that you really would want, not treasurer so much as talking about the secretary is it's usually going to take two people to sign a document. And that's the reason that you want to have a vice chairman too, because if you have to start a check or something else and you can't make it, and sometimes the law doesn't provide for it. Sometimes we appoint another assistant secretary if that person can't do it. In our own, that's not a law
have a separate-
office, but it is.
In your opinion, would we be better off to have a secretary and a treasurer? Just to,
I don't think it matters. I think you either way, that or have another assistant secretary that comes out for minutes. That may not be the legal office. Legal law requires you to have two. That would be a secretary treasurer with that. But somebody who's gonna keep the money. Well, probably ought to be a separate one if somebody's gonna run the money and the chairman and the treasurer sign the checks. Is that what you?
Yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
two sign assistants.
Change it.
That's what I was.
I mean, I don't know. I've never.
So do we have someone
You'll
want to
do
move
it?
this?
You do it, Charles.
I
just said
move
to do it.
that we elect the slate as stated. Do you need it
I'll
rehash?
second that.
Charles is feeling guilty. I think he wants
It's
to.
been moved and seconded. that the slate of officers for the DDA for this 2012 year be Monica Bigwood, Chair, Ralph Mills, Vice Chair, David Lyons, Secretary, David Schmidt, Treasurer. All in favor? Opposed?
Sorry. Put that down on the record, please.
We have a quorum.
Okay, so
Salary
So
and
you
call
and
with
I,
it.
or us, the two?
The two independents are,
Madam Chairwoman, I turn it over to you.
See, this is. All right. I asked for new opportunities this year. This is just consistent. Okay, we have to adopt a meeting schedule. Anybody have any recommendations for how often and where we should meet? Do we time? I know I heard
During
earlier.
the day.
I'd suggest room 220, monthly frequency during the day. How about a 3:30 start? The reason I said toward the end of the day, so. Yeah, but
Yeah, that works.
it could be earlier or later.
I'll throw out a Thursday.
Oh, please, no Thursday.
No Thursday.
That'd be great. I wouldn't be there.
Tuesday, Wednesday's best for me. I mean, I'm just throwing that on the
Tuesday.
table.
Tuesday, 3:30.
I can do Tuesday.
Tuesday, 3:30.
Tuesday, 3:30. We're in
So we need a day, a particular day of the month, like the first Tuesday.
How about the second?
Second Tuesday?
Do we need to know if that room is available at that time?
We do. I have, I believe the Plan Commission is there.
What day is it?
Tuesday at
We need to pick
3:30?
one of the Tuesdays during the month.
Yeah, committee meeting is the second
Second Tuesday.
Okay, so we can
We
do
could
some
do the
other.
third, maybe the third.
Tuesday following the second Monday, we are on the calendar at 5 p.m.
Oh, well, there, it's at 5 p.m., so we'll be done by 5.
Yeah.
You can do it the same Tuesday's planning commission, you're meeting at 2:30, the planning commission meeting is at 7.
Okay.
And it's in
We were
the,
going to start at
uh,
3:30. Is 3:30 to 5:30, is the room open during that time?
This is what, we're still talking about Tuesday?
Second Tuesday.
Yeah, second Tuesday of the
Second
month.
Tuesday.
Third Tuesday?
But
Wait,
that's
is
gonna
there
run
one that's,
into-
Second Tuesday, we're going to probably run into committee.
was there one that's completely
How
open?
about third Tuesday? Is that tomorrow?
Well, the first Tuesdays.
Which shouldn't be a problem, because planning commission's at 7 o'clock, it's in council chamber.
What about the
What
first
about
Tuesday?
the first Tuesday? That's I love that. That's when we have DRB, and that's not till 6:30. So I've got to be there anyway.
Okay.
First Tuesday's okay.
So we need to stay, we need to
She
Stephanie to
quit.
confirm that. First Tuesday?
All right, first Tuesday.
First Tuesday at 3:30
Check it.
to 5:30 is official.
First 5:30.
Okay. Do we want to plan an annual meeting or a one? Stephanie, what do we have options for that as far as doing a strategy session, something like that?
Retreat,
Yeah.
something like that. Or you wanting to do one soon
I guess we'll take.
or next year?
I was thinking the sooner the better, based on what they were saying.
Uh-huh.
And if we could get that person, that mediator, whatever you want to call him, facilitator.
Yeah, I have one in mind, who is with the.
When is the economic plan due? That final.
The strategic economic
Uh-huh.
plan?
It's about 60 days away still.
Probably going to be closer to April. We have a meeting next week with the stakeholders committee, which is the 29th. And then, he'll probably come back with the final draft, last of March.
We could work with the draft, though, couldn't we? We could just.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a
And-
retreat after
yeah.
draft in April?
Yeah, not the first week.
Before we leave that, should we solidify our first Tuesday?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that the monthly meeting be the first Tuesday of each month, commencing with March 6th as the first meeting. maybe the first Tuesday in March.
Somebody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed.
Is there enough time for public notice on that?
Oh, yeah, it's 24 hours.
Yeah.
Because like this meeting was published on the Roswell calendar.
I'm sorry, that was March 6th.
March 6th, 3:30 to 5:30.
And at that time, maybe we can nail down the strategic plan date.
Yeah, I can
Another
take
retreat,
responsibility
strategic
for that.
retreat, whatever.
Are you on that committee? I think I'm the only one. No, John's on it.
What's that?
You're on the strategic committee too, right?
No,
Oh, you're not,
it's
okay.
just you.
This one.
Still want to do it in spring break.
Okay.
The meeting is for the Fulton County Schools. That's the only kind of sacred week. It's usually like the first week in April.
First Tuesday is April.
Yeah, we need to, can we move that to the
April 3rd.
second one?
It's spring break.
It's spring break.
Talking about the retreat.
Oh, well, I'm just talking about also
Just
the
even
first
regular
Tuesday.
meetings.
Oh, the
That-
regular meeting.
Yeah, could we move
Or
that
second
particular
meeting
one
would be-
to the 10th?
When the spring break is.
It's the week prior to the first week in April.
First week in April, okay. So, what date are you looking at?
How about April 10th? It's the following Tuesday?
Can we do that?
That's just for the next meeting, or?
Yeah, just that
for the
particular,
next
and just
meeting,
for
March
April.
6th.
But the
March
April
6th, and
meeting
then we'll
is
go
during
back in May.
spring break.
Yeah. And the next one would be May 1st.
Okay.
Realistically, with all the synthesis that has to happen with the different plans and the preparation for this planning retreat, I think we're going to be lucky to get something in by June. I mean, if we're going to do something, we need to get it on our calendars pretty quick if we're going to take a day.
And it would be good if it was before summer, actually. 'cause
Yeah,
that makes it even
so,
harder.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm already booking June. I'm sorry, I'm
No,
not putting pressure on it, but
Yeah,
Stephanie, there's
Stephanie,
a-
what can we do?
We did talk about April.
I see this as a synthesis issue
Uh-huh.
because there's so many plans, and we don't have to come up with anything, but we need to understand stuff.
The directions, yeah.
We're in
That's why I
the-
wanted to make sure we had at least that draft, that we could
Yeah.
know where they're at.
Gateway master, I mean, they're gonna continue planning.
Yeah, they're gonna keep-
Would a Friday be a good day? Does Friday work for anyone? For an all-day thing, or is that better?
It depends on which Friday, I think
Talking
the 20.
about April now, or?
No, I think we're set on April 10th for the second meeting
Right.
because we're off
How about a
schedule
Friday
a
the
bit,
13th?
And then we're back to the regular first of May.
Anybody
so-
superstitious here?
So we can get back on our regular
I'm
meeting,
talking about
the retreat.
Is this in April?
Yeah.
Is there a full moon that night?
I don't
What are
know.
you talking
My
about,
calendar.
April
April
13th?
13th.
We don't want to have a retreat till we settle on a vision, I think.
But that's part of,
Or is this
that's
just
that's
what we're
setting
going
it,
to do?
yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's for, is digesting
Okay.
all that.
Okay. Then that's what we'll do.
That's going to be a sprint. To Get something. Of course, this
But
is a
see,
pretty
it-
advanced group. I mean, with the
I can do April
experience.
13th.
The-
I'm
my-
available to do it.
Yeah, I think I am. I'll know in just a second.
Is that something you want?
Can staff be ready for that?
You know, I'll check with the facilitator that I was looking at, see what her availability is, and there are other ones too. Talk to.
Okay, if we need to change that, logistically, if we need to change that date, we can just communicate,
Okay.
figure out. But if we could just get it on the calendar for the 13th and try to do that.
Yeah, that works.
I don't really know where to go on the bylaws,
Okay.
actually, because I have not read them.
That section in your packet has a copy of the sample bylaws that you guys got at the orientation meeting. This is something that GNA has put together. What I've also included in here are bylaws from the Wanaga. What I like about theirs is that it also gave me an oath of office
Mm-hmm.
and a contract. So that's something you may want to look at to decide if that's something you're interested in doing. The oath of office has a place where everyone signs and just states that confidentiality, conflict of interest. They have associate numbers as well, so they use that for their associate numbers. And then there's the bylaws of ACWA. Just so you get an idea of the kind of things that you can put in your bylaws. And Kingsland, looks like ACWA.
I like Delana because I see what you're saying. Would it be appropriate, Stephanie, for us to not decide on the bylaws today, or do you feel like they need to be done today?
No, we can't do that
We need to study.
today.
Yeah, I didn't think
Okay, that's
all
fine.
your bylaws today. You might want to consider how you're going to tackle this. You're going to come up with some tasks for
Yeah.
members to look at in regard to bylaws.
I assume that all these models have the minimum legal.
Well, it's more or less the way that we do it, as long as it conforms, like you said, to the Open Meetings Act and the other things. But I'm going to try to find the ones from the past one, and when what we'll do is amend those to the
Right.
ones, because everything has changed since then. The last meeting was 15 years ago. And between this beautiful girl right back here and me, we've been holding the money for 15 years.
Wait, there's money?
And Bill.
Yeah, and the bills, and pay the bills for 15 years.
George, I know you love us, but who's paying your tab?
Well, the city has been
Okay,
paying me.
you have arrangements to make sure that you get paid?
Well, I was being paid during the time that before then I was paid out of the money that came into the development authority, but the city had picked it up in the meanwhile, and I said that the checking was really, Bill started this after when the authority sort of, disintegrated after 15 years ago. And when it did, I renewed everything and kept everything going, and then and we had the money. So Kay was the custodian of money, and I was the custodian of the account, right?
Yes, sir.
So what we're going to do, we're going to put those back together. I presume I can give it to you and give it to you. So that'll give you.
And I think that's certainly a topic for conversation. There's a lot of first and a lot of news for this group, and we will work our way through it. George has been gracious enough through the hibernation period to do this for us, but we need to work out a specific arrangement for him to be that legal counsel if that's what the DDA desires. We have asked our in-house staff to take a look at the bylaws in general just to keep things moving, so that's certainly a decision for you. Obviously, any work that gets done on a legal basis, the city will be responsible for that bill, as you don't have any real money, so to speak, at this juncture. So we'll move forward with that, assuming that you're okay with getting us to that point, and y'all can make some formal decision at the appropriate time, which y'all deem necessary.
So the questions of the bylaws go to the in-house counsel.
Well, that was just to get to today. Anything else, if
Because we're
George's
gonna-
willing to look at it, then he can certainly take a look at it. I was
Day
just
one,
trying
we're
to
gonna have
bridge the
questions
gap.
along this.
Was there value getting the existing bylaws? I mean, that's what's in place
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah,
Do we-
do you have those?
Well, what I've done, I've looked. I'm looking for it, and I'm going to get Ben Magoon, who was the past president, to see if he did. I know we kept the money now. The records, I'm going to have to see if I had them. I have a lot of the records, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't have like in anything, of course, I've only been around 8 years, so anything that I inherited through O-Files and things, we don't have them. So I'm hoping that it's in one of your files.
Well, that's what I was doing too, because you inherited it too when you moved in office. But we still kept the money.
So otherwise, we just amend based upon,
Yeah,
some arbitrary thing saying that, this is a full replacement, whatever for.
That's what I suggest, yeah, because it could be very
If we
foreign.
can't find it, well, how much money's sitting there?
Even if you can't.
It was,
Yeah, several thousand.
That was fun.
It's not $5,000.
About $5 grand.
Even if you can't find the bylaws, my suggestion would be you can move to strike the existing bylaws and
Okay.
replace them with a new set.
Well, that's what I suggest we do,
Yeah.
because the other bylaws won't be at all like this, because the authority was
rules.
not developing as you are at this time. It was doing other jobs to promote Roswell. That's,
So in terms of a recommendation, based on the ones you have in here, we started with Dahlonega, read the others, used that as a base, and penciled in whatever things we wanted under that structure. Is that something you recommend for us to go through? In light of the fact we can't.
well, I do, but whatever is practically feasible as legal is what you want. I mean, you can make something as difficult as you want to make it.
Well, I'm trying to make it easy to say, let's all start with the same document, read the other ones, and we'll write in our
Yes,
notes about
yes.
what we think needs to be added to Dahlonega, if you think that's a good model to start with.
Well, I agree with you, absolutely.
Okay. So,
what, would it make sense for each of us to like take one of these bylaws and just digest through it and see if there's anything that we really want to have instead of all of us trying to read through all of them? And does that help?
We're not that long.
yeah,
Okay,
I
we
think
can
we
just-
probably need to.
yeah, they're pretty short.
The basic ones that really come in is when you start to see how everything's operate, and if somebody can't be there to sign all the time, if you're going to appoint another secretary. The law says you have to have one, but you can have other officers to do things, if you have certain documents and things, maybe the bank accounts and all. But if you see what the situation dictates is what I'm saying, and then you curve the bylaws to make it work.
Stephanie, can we get these in digital form?
Yes, I can do that.
What is, how does this work? I mentioned BoxNet, BoxNet is a site you can have the same document, and each person can make edits on it so that we can see who edited it instead of having 500 copies go around.
Is there a Mac Windows problem with that, or do you
Nope.
do? No.
I've got
I think
Mac.
in the orientation, we talked about using SharePoint. since
Yeah,
the
look that.
secretary has it.
It's a Microsoft program.
Okay, that's.
I don't have one. I'm a total, I was just thinking an online thing might, that's what I pulled it up. I went, I can't use that. Didn't look any farther. I'm sorry, that's all I looked at. So SharePoint would be fine. If it's an online thing that I don't understand, I am awful.
Yeah, there's Google Docs, and I think Kirby's mentioned another.
Lonnie's got
program
one of
that he
everything.
uses that he likes better than SharePoint, but
I used to. I retired. I have, I've used, I'm thinking Dropbox. Dropbox is the other one.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Not-
BoxNet,
you can count it.
but BoxNet, well, I'm just talking short-term solution for working on the bylaws.
Okay.
That we could just, is that okay to do that?
Open BoxNet.
If we can do SharePoint and it's an online thing, as long as it's not a program, a Microsoft program.
I'll investigate which programs.
Okay.
I'll get that to you.
I might be able to power up my ancient laptop if I have to. Could do that. As long as you don't want anything fast. But that would just get things started so that in the next month we can all, so when we come back together in March, we have a draft of something we'd like to vote on or at least discuss.
Which is actually only about 2 weeks, so.
Oh, yeah. That's not
March
long.
meeting's a couple of weeks.
But this, like you said, these aren't long.
Yeah,
And we want to keep
we should
it
be able to
simple.
do
We
it.
don't want it onerous. There's enough requirements that, right?
If anything, I would want to lighten it up some and make it so, everything you do is not illegal.
Right.
Because it sounded like, listening to the other attorney, that things are actually pretty liberal. And I think they define, just glancing through there, they define a lot of things that may be overly so.
I agree. That was my first gut. Are there any other issues to discuss today?
I just wanted to let you know about a couple of upcoming events.
Oh, that's right.
That continued training and networking that we can participate in. One is the statewide preservation conference that will, it's being hosted in Roswell. That's the Historic Preservation Division's conference that leads into the Historic Roswell's Ramble, which is the Georgia Trust's event. They come do these two in concert. And we should be able to, if anybody wants to go, the registration is $100. We should be able to pay for additional training for anyone who wants to do that. And the Ramble, though, is a totally different thing. That's more of a kind of a heritage tourism type of event. But it does look like they have a great program put together if you want to go to that.
Where will it be held?
Pardon?
Where will it be held in Roswell?
The Ramble?
No, the conference,
The
preservation
conference,
conference.
they're having their conference hotel is the Holiday Inn. They're having some sessions there. They're having their plenary at the Presbyterian Church Chapel, historic Presbyterian Church. That's the opening event on the afternoon of April. That's not the afternoon. It's 11 o'clock, April 19th. And then they'll go have lunch downtown in different restaurants and have concurrent sessions starting at 2 to 5 and a reception at Bullock Hall. And then I think everybody will spill over into the first Live After 5 that we're going to have this year. And then Friday, it's a pretty short conference. It goes till noon on Friday. They have concurrent morning sessions from 9 to noon at the hotel on Friday. And then the Ramble starts.
Okay. I think we all talked about LaGrange would be a good idea.
Yes, that's the Georgia Downtown Association Conference. They don't have any agenda put together yet. They're still
It's in August, right?
working on it in August, yes.
And I have a relationship with the mayor and the development for LaGrange that we may be able to connect up. They're a pretty innovative group.
We're doing work at the square too. We're good.
That's right.
They'll have another, the GMA training, Dr. Lee say, they will have that usually the day before the conference. It might be the day after. It just depends on how logistics go. Not that you'll want to go another 8 hours of that, but there will be other DDA people there on that day. There's, if you want to get in touch with GMA and see who's around, if there's somebody you want to meet with, or
Speaking of that, what effect has Richard not having gone through training have on his participation?
nothing. I mean, you have a year from the time of your appointment to your training.
We should have thought about it earlier. That'd have been our chairman.
Yeah, we really should have elected him. We may have that as new business next time. We move to be adjourned. Anybody
So
have-
moved.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Efficiency. Efficient.
That was not supposed to happen.
George David Lyon.
I think they felt bad when I told you that you couldn't ask her about it.